Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Alain. We're going to look at these three books today: Walt's Way, 4,000 Weeks, and Designation Gold. First, I want to welcome everybody and appreciate you joining the show. Whether you join live and comment, or you do the replay and comment later, or you listen to the podcast because you like to listen rather than watch. Appreciate all of you. I'm here with an Elf mug this morning because if you remember, the end of Elf, they had the Elf book, which launched a new publishing house for Elf's dad, played by James Caan. And it's still the holiday season, so I'm using my holiday mugs. So that's why we have Elf mug, Elf book, several books to talk about this morning. Want you to be inspired to maybe read these or read something else. Doesn't matter what you're reading, as long as you're reading and learning and enjoying. And one of the things you can read is that newsletter. It's going to go out this weekend. Sign up at enjoylifesafely.com and you put that on your reading list. First book I want to talk about today, Walt's Way: How to Disneyfy Your Business Using the Magical Marketing Strategies of Walt Disney by Andrew Locke. I really liked this book. As you know, I'm a fan of Walt Disney and the way he liked to do things. And this book really sets it very clear and simple of how you can incorporate some of the things that Walt did into your own businesses. And it's just, they're very simple, but sometimes people don't do them. And so there's things like, there's first is why you should model Disney, the man, talking about him, but then getting things into smart marketing and upsells and sponsorships and pricing and innovation and how the language matters and attention to details and culture and values, empowering employees. I really thought of this book when the AMC event happened this week. If you're not familiar with that, North Carolina AMC movie theater called the police on a gentleman who was there, and he wanted to use his own chair because he had difficulties sitting in the movie theater chairs because of a medical condition that he has. And he has taken that chair to the White House, to Congress, to all over the places because it allows him to sit where he can't sit in other chairs. And he wanted to use it where they put the wheelchairs, which is part of AMC's policy to be able to allow people to enjoy movies that they can't sit in the regular chairs. But unfortunately, the employee was not empowered like Disney empowered his employees to make the best experience for guests. And they argued with him and said he couldn't have that chair. It wasn't a wheelchair, so he had to remove it. And they actually called the police on him. He left the theater, that he was not arrested. And from what I understand, he said the police responded very respectfully and were courteous and everything was good with the law enforcement. And since then, AMC's CEO has called him. And from what I understand, AMC's CEO is going to meet with him. But what a big mess, because the AMC's culture and employees were not empowered to ensure that guests and people in that theater have the best experience. And that was the chapter I really liked in here. And when I read that thing about North Carolina AMC theaters, like, wow, that wouldn't have happened with employees under Walt's watch. I mean, you drop an ice cream cone at Disney, boom, an employee is sweeping it up and they're giving you a replacement ice cream cone because they don't want you to have a bad experience in the park. And that's with anything you drop or break and kind of thing. They want to make sure that you enjoy the experience. You'll come back again. You get booted out of AMC because they won't let you sit in your chair because you can't sit in theirs. Do you want to go back to AMC? Now, he said he has forgiven them. He's going to meet with the CEO, and maybe we can change AMC's policies and culture to make sure something like that never happens again. But I just really think this was a great book on the way Walt liked to do things. And it's looking at your positives and your negatives. You know, the book lays out how Walt was the visionary and created things. He was terrible with money. And he had his faults when it was business and money related. That went to Roy, his brother. And without Roy making the money and doing the business decisions, it wouldn't have grown into the company it is now. And so you want to make sure that you look at your strengths and weaknesses and empower your business with everything that it needs to succeed. So I really like this book. It was short, really easy to read, but had some really good practical points for any business owner and business leader to implement to make their businesses better. Dixon says, technically, Christmas doesn't end until January 6th, so I can keep using my holiday mugs until then. All right, Dixon, thank you much for being here. Next book, 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman. This is a very different time management book. It makes you think. It makes you think and embrace the truth about limited time and limited control over that time. So this isn't a book about, make a list and check it twice and, batch your things that you're doing together and all, like your traditional time management books. It's not like that at all. It's more of a philosophy book almost about time and about what productivity really is and how we spend our time. And that we have a finite amount of time. All of us do. And sometimes that's cut shorter than we think. None of us really know. And so it's very interesting. And reading it makes you think about your relationship with time and what's important and prioritizing things. So I like this. Not that I won't still read time management books to help me get more productive with the goal setting and those kind of things, the list making and using your spare moments of time to put things in and so forth, because I still think those have value. And I'm one of those kind of people that I like that, I'm always trying to be more productive. But reading this, you start thinking, why? Why are you like that? What's driving that? And so it was thought-provoking and a good read about how we use our time and the time that we have left and so forth. So I did really enjoy this book as well. And the third and final book for this morning, we have another Rogue Warrior, Designation Gold by Richard Marcinko and John Weisman. I forget just which book Richard Marcinko starts writing with someone else, but these first 5, including the original Rogue Warrior, which is the autobiography and not the novel, Richard Marcinko was writing with John Weisman. So this is another Marcinko-Weisman collaboration. It's a novel. I enjoyed this one. It was fun read. And as I told you before, he writes a lot of cussing and killing, and he writes sort of in first person, like he's talking with you and telling you the story. And there's those little things where he'll say, go back and buy the previous book if you're not familiar with that concept and things like that. Just fun reads, fun, action-packed, cussing and killing, and some stuff that, when he was writing it, it's like, yeah, that's kind of stuff was really going on and really does happen in the world. So some of the stuff he writes about is taken out of truth, incorporated into his novels. And sometimes the lines get sort of blurred and it's hard to know what's true and what's not sometimes. But fun read. So those are the 3 books today. We got a fun novel, continuing to read the Rogue Warrior novels as I then donate them after I read them, because I'm just reading them one more time before I, donate them. Walt's Way, just a really good book on business principles and things to make your business better based on what Walt believed and how he wanted to do things in the parks and movie studios and stuff that when he was alive, and that they've carried on since then. And 4,000 Weeks, a different philosophical look on time and how much time we have left and what we're doing with that time and why. So all three of them really good books, enjoyed. Hope that inspires you to go out and read one of them or read something else. Read something you'll enjoy. Read something you'll learn from. Just enjoy reading. If you don't like to read or you have problems with actually the printed word, audiobooks are out there, and those are wonderful too. I listen to those quite a bit as well when I'm driving and doing something where I can't actually hold a book in my hand. So any of those are great. Just enjoy, learn, be exceptional. Go out, make it a spectacular Saturday. We will see you tomorrow for the final episode of 2023, where I have not missed a day with Coffee with Alain. And I appreciate everyone who's been along on the journey.